Johnny, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know it's a very exciting time for Avenged Sevenfold. It's got to feel good, man. First new music in 7 years for you guys to finally just get this out there has got to feel good.
Absolutely, man. 7 years. Wow, you just really put a number on it. Yeah, we got off the road 5 years ago, and you know, took the time to start conceptualizing this record, and each step was really kind of methodical, and also followed us through our personal and life journeys, both individually and together, over the last 5 years. I mean, there's a lot of break times in between each process that were both necessary and out of our control at sometimes. So, I mean, it was a long process that we weren't used to, but I think at the end of it, when we got back and got this record mixed and mastered, and we were listening to it, it was like, obviously this was several months before everyone else got to hear it, and we were like, okay, now I'm ready for everyone to hear what we just worked on. We just put our heads down for the last 5 years, and just try not to focus on too much other stuff, and just make sure that we were creating the music that we wanted to, that made us proud as a band, as musicians, as brothers, to put out to the world. And then after we do that, it's in your guys' hands now if you like it or not.
Yeah, obviously you hope that your fans like what you've created, but you guys have to like it too, because you don't want to keep cranking out the same stuff over and over, even though a very small number of people have heard the full album. Can you tell me what you love most about it, having spent so much time with it, being a part of the process? What do you love about Life is But a Dream the most?
Those are hard questions. I know that they're questions that everyone wants to ask or hear, and it's difficult. What's one thing I love about this record that means so much to me? It's been such a big part of my life. You think about 5 years. I'm only 38. I mean, fractionally, that's it's not a small fraction of my life at this point. So it's hard. But I mean, if I gun to my head, have to pick one thing, I think it's really just the way this band came together and created something that I personally have never heard done before. From front to finish, I've never heard an album tackled really by any genre, let alone the one that we've been pigeonholed in our entire career. And I just think it just shows the growth, the tenacity, and the willingness to put everything that we have into one piece of art over the last 5 years. And I couldn't be more proud of not myself, but my brothers that put this together and helped make it the vision that it is. And like you said, you do this for you as an artist first and foremost. We learned that a long time ago, that you can't, you feel the urge to pander to your fans because they do mean so much to you. And obviously, it's the cliche thing to say, but it's cliche because it's obvious, right? That's usually the case. We're nothing without our fan base, of course, and we love them so much, and they know that. And over the years, we've had a mutual respect where they understand also too that we go in and give it our all. Whatever comes out at the other end, that we've spent our time, our due diligence in making something that we feel proud of, and all we can do at that point when it's done is feel the way we feel about it and let everyone else discover it and feel the way they're going to feel about it. That's a part of the gig. That's a part of creating art.
Why is it so important for you guys to sort of to grow as a band? Because you guys could just keep cranking out City of Evil over and over and over again, and people would buy it and people would love it.
It's not as easy as you might think to crank out a City of Evil
right.
over and over again.
Right. But you guys have kept growing and doing different things and challenging yourselves. Why is that important, as opposed to just continually putting out something that sounds similar and just going, here's another thing that we already know you dig it, so here it is again. Why keep growing like you guys do?
Great question. I mean, I think it's just part of our DNA. It's part of our culture. It's part of what we've always wanted to do. I mean, we would get very bored and frankly, probably not keep doing it if that's what was demanded of us for whatever reason. I can't imagine that scenario, to be honest, because it's not really how we've ran our career or our lives really. So I guess the answer is closer to it's just a part of us. I mean, we've always challenged ourselves on every record. every single record, there's a new challenge. It's not the same challenge either. It's always, can we do this? Are we capable? And at the end of the day, you know, after doing this for 20 years, we get to a point where we feel like we're capable of just, I mean, pretty much anything. Like I am, uh, it's not even capable. I don't feel that capable of myself as much as I do my bandmates. I know that if I had a crazy idea to tackle a song, I would need the help of my brothers, of course, and I would look to someone like Sinister Gates and say, "This is the vision I have for a song. How can you help me get there?" Or Shadows, help me. Zachy, help me. Brooks, I need a beat, man. Give me this beat. And I know with the five of us together, we could accomplish anything musically. And once you feel that empowerment, I guess, you kind of just, man, well, let's just go do anything then. Let's challenge ourselves to be that band or those artists that are constantly pushing the envelope, constantly being more bold, or at the very least, as I keep saying, challenging ourselves. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but it's about that. And every time we've challenged ourselves, going all the way back to Waking and City of Evil, the first time we self-produced our record in our self-titled White Album, every one of those steps, we have challenged ourselves and learned what to do and what not to do to accomplish those visions that we have. So much so that when we go into an album like Hail to the King, we want these riff orients and we're stripping everything down. Avenged Sevenfold has been known for all these layers that we've thrown in over the years. Let's give them a Hail to the King record that is just guitars, drums, bass, and vocals for the most part. And we're going to rest on our ability to create larger than life riffs. And let's see if we can accomplish that. That was what we set out to do for that record. And in that, we learned so much of how to and what not to and everything in between. And we ingratiate ourselves so much in that style of art that it then becomes part of our DNA as songwriters. And whether we know it or not, we've now inspired ourselves through those teachings, right? When we go to do the stage, it's like, okay, well, how do we, when we need a big riff like that, let's bring it in from a Hail to the King. But how about when we want to do some shreddy stuff like we did on City of Evil? And it's not even as conscious as I just explained it, right? It's so ingrained in us that that's where it's just going to naturally go. So when you get to a record like Life is But a Dream, and the whole essence of it is to be bold and to be pushing, and how do we challenge ourselves this time? Honestly, we challenge ourselves by seeing if we can just let it rip and let the teachings that we've given ourselves over the last while really take us to the next level, and not be scared to never resolve the chorus, give all the anxiety in that melody, and give you just a slight resolve before you still get right back into some verse that has everything. All of our note choices on this record, as people will get to hear as they listen to it over and over again, are not the norm. We're not in the pentatonic scale. We're not in drop D minor all the time. We're not doing the typical stuff because we didn't want to hear that anymore, to be honest. You know, it was just after hearing, how do you keep yourself excited about music? And I think it's looking to new artists and what they're doing, and trying to just not be different for different sake, but just, you know, you only got 12 notes to play with. How can we sonically change that? How can we play this chord with a fifth or a ninth underneath it? Well, Zachy's got a different jazz chord on the top of it. Like, what is that sound going to make? And what you end up getting is such a broad spectrum rather. And I think that's really like the overarching musical ideology of this record, is really just to create something new that still is us. I mean, every time we attempt to do something new, it's still going through the Avenged Sevenfold filter. You're still going to hear Avenged in it. That's a guarantee. But we're going to tackle something new and challenging every time, because that's how you grow. And honestly, that's how I live my life in the personal matter. Like every day, I just try to be better than the day before at whatever it is, you know, just at being a father, being a husband, being open-minded to friends and family on their journeys, and maybe when they tell a story, actually listen to them and try to, you know, learn from it. You know, I think if you're not learning every day and being open-minded and trying to accept the teachings that are around you, you're kind of just stagnant. And in my opinion, and a lot of people probably love to live that way, but in my opinion, it's no way to live. I like to be constantly moving forward. And that's just it's a long-winded answer, but that's where we go.
I know I'm gonna have somebody tell me to wrap it up here in just a couple of minutes.
You got
The
one
interview is
question
gonna be
and
that
I
one
just went.
We talked to, the album is going to be out here in June. The first taste that we got of the album is the song Nobody. You talked about not being stagnant. You talked about taking these different ideas, and Nobody on first listen, dude, there is so much going on in that song alone. And that's the only thing we've heard from the album so far. When you take a song like Nobody, how do you guys decide with all the things that are happening, with the strings and the vocal, everything that's going on? When do you know that a song like that is like, okay, we're done. We've done it. We've done what we've set it to accomplish, when you have so much happening?
When they send me the master. No, I mean, honestly, it's like that song was one of the first songs I heard demoed. I heard that riff that everybody knows well now. And I heard the beats come in. We started working on the verses and choruses and getting everything together. And that outro end came later. It was an idea to have something a little neo-classical at the end, a little somber. But I mean, I want to say from the beginning of hearing that song, I knew where it was going to go and what it was going to sound like, and knew it was going to be the first foot forward for this record. I knew that was going to be the song that we were going to have everybody listen to first, because there is no single on this record in the traditional fashion, right? I mean, there's songs that I think are catchy and can fit in the single world, whatever. It doesn't really matter. This is an album in its entirety, and every song on it has its place. It's unique. Nobody is not like any other song on this record. I could tell you that. It's not like, here's Nobody and this is the way the rest of the record's going to sound. It's like, no, here's Nobody. This is going to get your ear trained to start listening to the rest of the record, because there's so much, as you mentioned, musically going on there on something that seems so simplistic and started so simplistic with that riff and going on from there. And then something as simple as that we've never really done before is having Matt sing the riff in the chorus. Like that's something we've never really done. It's kind of been kind of cheekily something that we think is a cop out in a lot of ways, and we've never really wanted to do it, but then it just worked for this song. And then, you get the horns coming in, and then, you get this rad R&B part, layered vocals and stuff. And then I don't think we knew we were done until we had that outro on it, when it just kind of neoclassical. We're going to end the song with a nearly 2-minute instrumental part. I think that was it just made sense for us in that song. Like, the tagline, Nobody, Nobody, Nobody comes on, and then that's the last you hear of Shadows, and here comes Sinister with his blazing solo, and Brooks just showing the mastery that he can just vibe on a neoclassical part like that on the drums. It's just, and the orchestration, having someone really go at it with the bow on that. Like we had a real player on that. That wasn't someone in a room trying to get that, because we wanted to hear the resin on the bow. We wanted to hear all that stuff. And it just kind of put a somber, unsettling end to a song that is all tension over and over. You hear that same droning beat and riff and everything. And it's like, how do you end that? Let's just go for it and put a somber, classical, neoclassical sounding end to it that really just ties a bow on all the emotions that we hope you just went on a journey with.
Yeah, and it's a journey, man. The first time I heard it, I thought the same thing, and I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the album. The same day that you dropped Nobody and you announced the album, you also announced this big tour, and I have to imagine that, well, the first leg of the tour, I have to imagine that with the album and all the imagery and everything being sort of tied together, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that the stage show that you guys are going to bring to Michigan and Massachusetts and New Jersey, everything has to sort of tie together with Life Is But a Dream, right? We're going to see some things on this tour coming up, right?
Oh, absolutely. Anybody who's a fan of this band and has had the opportunity to come see us at a show, first of all, I want to thank you. And second of all, you guys would know that we bring out a new stage every time that ties in with our newest piece of work. We don't, we don't shy away from our new material. I mean, we spent a lot of time on this record, and we're very proud of it, and we're not going to shy away from it now. This is Avenged Sevenfold in 2023, going into the future. This is who we are, and this is what the stage is going to look like. You guys will see it when it comes. It's very different. It's something that I'm very excited. I've only seen drawings of it to this point. We're in rehearsals right now. We're going to be starting up the production rehearsals here in a few weeks. So I'm excited to see the actual build of what I've been able to see on the computer generated screen so far. But it's going to be really insane, really fun, but different. I mean, I think our fans have grown to see the evolution of both larger than life, but artistic at the same time, and really thought out and planned. I mean, I think there might even be times on this during this set where you might see us go to certain positions, which we've never done before. That's like almost choreography, right?
Yeah.
We've never done any of that before, but I think it might be necessary for some of the stunts that we're trying to pull off. So it'll be interesting because you'll be trying to get us guys who are usually just free flowing it up there to go like, oh, remember to be in this spot at this time. It's like
all the more reason to go see the show to make sure that you guys hit your spots, because that might be something worth watching too.
Oh yeah, everyone likes to see the car crash, right? So
yeah, right. Well, I am looking forward to the tour. Looking forward to hearing the album. Looking forward to watching more of the podcast. I know season 5 just kicked off. You were at WrestleMania over the weekend, which I'm insanely jealous of, dude. It had to have been awesome.
Oh, dude, it was such a great time, dude. And thank you for mentioning that. Like, you're a wrestling fan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Boy, yeah, man. It was being here in LA in Inglewood, SoFi Stadium. When that was announced, I immediately called up my booking agent over at CAA, Ryan Harlacker, and I told him, dude, I don't care what we're doing at this time. It's a year in advance. I need tickets to that show. And he got me hooked up nice. Live Nation, Omar over at Live Nation helped us out, and I got a suite. Shadows was with me the second night. First night I was there with my son. I mean, talk about an amazing weekend of wrestling. I mean, start to finish, so much fun. But yeah, we did talk about it on thanks for bringing up the podcast with Johnny. We started a new format where we're not doing deep dives interviews as much anymore. We'll still have some of those, I'm sure, some of the times, but it's mostly going to be conversation between me and my co-host Brandon Lombardo and Sam Hawkins, covering topics and then having guests come by and weigh in on those topics more so than taking a deeper dive into their careers.
Yeah, make sure you go check out Drink with Johnny. The new season premiered on YouTube. You can go scope that out, and a new album out in June, and then the tour will kick off a little bit later on. Johnny, I appreciate you taking some time, and no mention of Mr. Bungle, so check that
one. No, we should mention Mr. Bungle. I love Mr. Bungle. I don't want to make it sound like I don't.
Mr. Bungle rules.
But absolutely rules.
Awesome. Johnny, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.